Hello, and welcome to episode 17 of Movies and Us. This is your host, Marcus.
And I'm TJ.
And this is the movie review show that reviews genre movies from the beginning, sometimes.
Alright, before you go into the spiel, we should actually talk about the fact that we're not doing the IDW and Dark Horse Comics movies yet. We decided that we're going to do all the DC and Marvel movies first, then we're going to come back around and swing it. There's just too many movies to keep track of chronologically, so we decided that we're just going to focus on Marvel and DC, and then we'll swing back around once we finish all these movies.
Can your little egg sucker brains handle that? Yeah, we can handle that. Cool.
That was just bad. So I'm going to fix that with, America's always like to drink liberty.
See that, guys? He's right starting his dumb puns on my podcasts. I'm sorry, listeners. But why he made an American pun? Because this week's episode, we're reviewing the true film debut of the 1990 Captain America.
Did you say the true film?
Well, the first one we reviewed, it was released in theaters. Fascinating. The first one we did was released in theaters, and it was a serials. This one was not released in theaters, and this is an actual movie.
We're not reviewing Captain America. We're reviewing Blood Match.
It was called Bloodsport, wasn't it?
No, it was called Blood Match in the Philippines for some reason.
Blood Match.
With Jean-Claude Van Damme as like a martial arts instructor or something.
This movie's even not bloody, so what made him decide to say that?
I don't know. There's all kinds of movies with different titles in different countries for some reason.
No, that's very true. I guess more appealing to the bases over there. I don't know. Anywho, this Captain America 1990 was directed by Albert Pyun, produced by
Don't call him
Joseph...
a peon. What are you...
His name is Pyun. P-Y-U-N. Pyun. I can't say it. Produced by Joseph Calamari, Mename,
he's a fish?
Gollum, yeah, right, I know, and Tom Karnowski. Terrible names, people. Screenplay by Stephen Tolkien, story by Stephen Tolkien, Lawrence J. Block, a.k.a. Larry Block, starring Matt Salinger, Rodney Cox, Scott Howland, Darren McGavin, Francesca Neri, Michael Nouri, and Ned Beatty. Also, he was Otis to the Superman movies, so a little crossover right there. And the budget was $3 million. There's no budget on this because it's supposed to be released for the 50th anniversary of Captain America theatrically. But behind the scenes crap.
I'm
getting to it.
You just said the budget though. You said the budget was $3 million, then you said there was no budget.
I'm sorry, there's no box office. I can't give you guys true box office because it wasn't released theatrically. They moved it to direct to DVD and TV, and by the quality, it looks like a TV made a movie. But although there's no box office for this movie, I will still give you the top 10 for 1990, so we can compare this to. Number 10 was Back to the Future 3. Number 9 was Dick Tracy. 8, Driving Miss Daisy. 7, Die Hard 2. 6 was Total Recall, which has one of the actors from that movie in this as well. 5 was The Hunt for Red October. Number 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which we'll get to later. Number 3 was Home Alone. Number 2, Pretty Woman. And number 1 is Ghost. Shockingly, Ghost beats out Die Hard 2, Turtles, Home Alone, and all those others.
Which one was Ghost?
Patrick Swayze.
For some reason, I was thinking Bill Cosby. Was that Ghost Dad?
Yes, that's Ghost Dad, yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I thought it was Ghost Dad.
I'm going to add that to my movies to watch for our... No, I can't do it to myself, so I'm not going to do it to you either. Anything else I got to do for a preamble?
You don't know how to do this by now?
Listen, whenever you do, I usually zone out.
Well, you didn't, say how long the movie is or anything.
The runtime is 97 minutes. It was released December 14th, 1990 in the United Kingdom first, then in 1992, July 22nd in the United States. Like you said, he did the Philippines reference thing. Should we get into this movie?
I don't know. You're running this. Is it time to go into the movie?
So, we start off in 1936, and I'm going to slaughter this name. Portaverner, Italy?
So, we open up in Italy. The credits are really getting from place to place. They're in space,
Italy, then Rome, the United States. This movie jumps around a lot of the world.
Yeah, well, I wasn't even referring to this movie. I was just talking about the credits in general. We usually open up in space or in a sewer. Now they're starting to open up in Italy.
Oh, wait until we get to the more modern day stuff, man.
Yeah, but you're right. This movie likes to like show where we're going every 30 seconds.
Which is interesting because I wonder if they actually filmed in those locations. Because, like I said, the budget was only $3 million, so it's not a big budget.
What's funny is they do that. They go Italy, like Washington, California, and they tell you every time. But like halfway through the movie, they just stop.
Yes. You know what's interesting about that? The new Captain America movies, Civil War, Captain America, First Avenger, etc., 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 they all have to do the same thing. Like, oh, we're in Paris now, so I put it right on the screen. So I wonder if they use this as an homage, as like a reference to this.
Maybe.
I'm fascinated now because there is some similarities. It's Captain America, so there's going to be some similarities between this and the more modern ones. But also some other Marvel franchises we'll get to later.
I don't know. All I know is that this one did not like to stay in one place for very long.
No, which I appreciated, honestly, because I think this is like the first one we reviewed that isn't just a single location kind of movie, single country. Is it? Batman stayed in Batman world. The Swamp Thing was always in the swamp. Superman kind of traveled a little bit.
Yeah, Superman was in France and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I don't know, did we go to different areas in that 1966 movie?
1966, which one? Batman?
Yeah.
No, I think it was just in Gotham, right?
No, because they were like in the United Nations.
Oh, that Batman. He was Batman 66. I'm thinking Tim Burton's. It's been a long time. I don't remember. I don't think so.
And I know the Superman movie, the 50 Superman movie, we were in like Texas or something like that.
Yeah, but that's Texas. Doesn't really count. Kidding. Sing Street was only in Sing Street. Alien went to space. Oh, yeah, so yeah.
I mean, we've gone to different places. I guess just not as many places as this movie wants to go.
Yeah. Howard the Duck was in his planet to our planet.
That's true, too. We went interdimensional with Howard.
Hell, it's the first one, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Interdimensional. Nice.
That's why it was so foul.
No to that. The Supergirl was also interdimensional, too. Kind of, not really.
Well,
it was something.
We don't know. Because I thought we were coming from space, but then apparently space isn't a lake or something like that. So...
Oh man, that movie's so bad. Okay, let's get to our movie. This Captain America.
All right.
So yeah, we start in. Can you say that word? Porto Verner, Italy.
Well, I think it's Porto Venere, but
thank you with that word, Italy, 1936.
I'm probably wrong though. I'm not really fluent in Italian.
So Steve Rogers, there's Tom, there's Sam.
You want me to use one of the bad ones that we did earlier?
Yeah, if you want. I enjoy them.
Freedom doesn't knock, it rings.
So yeah, we're in 1939, or whatever time period I said, 1936. And we open on a bunch of kids playing in the streets in Italy. But yeah, so there's a kid playing piano for his family. And oh no, somebody breaks in and like...
Somebody?
They're the Nazis, I guess, right?
Well, it could come in and it seems like they're Nazis, but they say... that the kid is from Italy, so it's more like Mussolini soldiers, Mussolini, Italy, I think.
That's what I was thinking, because like the symbolism.
However,
hats were
the guy that comes in and kidnaps him is working for the Nazis because he shows up later in the Red Skull's hideout.
Yes. So that's where I was confused.
So he's an Italian Nazi, I guess.
Well, I thought it was funny also. The first guy to burst through was through the window.
Yeah.
And then the next guy's coming through the door like, yo, bro, the door was open, essentially, like this.
Yeah, you'll find in superhero comics that happens a lot, but it's usually the superheroes that come in through the window.
Really?
When the door is there, yeah. Batman never uses a door. He always breaks in through the window.
I don't know why I find that so funny, but it's hilarious. But what's not so funny is this kid's getting taken from his family because they say, we need a boy because he's super intelligent. And they hustle. And then
but they didn't show that. They just showed him he's kind of a prodigy with a piano, and that's about it.
Not even a prodigy. He's just playing the piano pretty decent. Like
I just assumed he was, he's really good at piano because he's got a lot of people listening.
Exactly. And his family seems like they're well off. I can see it that we're like some terribly run down apartment playing the piano really well. Then okay, but obviously had practice.
Yeah.
So, what's so special about this kid? Anyway, we cut to a secret laboratory the Nazis have. But they keep going back to this location. It's called Fortress Lorenzo.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I'm getting all that facts out as soon as possible.
Yeah,
And
but you just skip over the fact that these Italian soldiers kidnap a kid and then murder his family in front of him. That's kind of
Did they murder them?
No, they did. It was a machine gun, and they held his face and made him watch.
There's a lot of murder in this that you don't really notice. That I didn't notice at least.
They didn't show a lot of it, but that was like, man, that felt like, a Magneto origin from X-Men where he's in Nazi camps and stuff.
Yeah, like I felt this was like heavily like that. You're right.
And this doesn't feel like a movie, like this isn't a modern day superhero movie where it's for everybody. This feels like it's a kids superheroes movie, like it was aimed at kids.
It's rated PG-13.
Yeah, it is.
So it's like right in the middle, I guess, of kids and adults.
I guess I don't know who this movie is for, though.
Yeah, Sam, I got that too. Because at some points,
it's very kiddie.
Yeah, but other points, it's like this is kind of violent.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who they made this movie for.
No. I mean, they made it for us to watch now, I guess.
I guess.
These people. But yeah, so we end up at Fort Lorenzo, and there's just a bunch of scientists sitting around like, oh, look at this thing we have. We have this. They show a red rat. That's why I wrote down my notes. Like the precursor to the Red Skull. It's like a badly animatronic looking red rat.
They show the Nazis watching a movie of a rat in a cage. A normal rat, just doing nothing for 5 minutes. And then they go and reveal that the rat has turned into a Red Skull rat.
Yeah. It's like, and that thing looked kind of creepy. Like, that's eerie. That's what he's going to look like? Man, I don't want to see this. So then they get to the kid. He's in his chair. They can strap him down. And they put him through the process of turning into the Red Skull. I noticed the mask they put on was kind of weird. Did you notice that or no? Was it just me?
His mask?
The one they put, not the mask, but like what they strapped him down the chair with. It was weird to me.
Well, it's because it was for an adult. I think that was supposed to go over the chin.
Okay, so it honestly reminded me of like it looked like they were like mimicking Hitler's face with it. I don't know why I figured that. But anyway, there's a lady scientist in it who's like, I'm not for this, and she escapes and shoot at her, and she escapes off. And then, so 7 years later in the future, 1943, we're in Redondo Beach, California, and it's Steve Rogers and his family, and they're all he's saying goodbyes to everyone. His love interest, who modern day is it Betty something?
No, his love interest they introduced here is named Bernice something.
But who's it now? Like in this canonical era,
like in
present day
in the movie?
Yes,
Sharon.
So was Bernice always a character in the?
All right. Well, this is kind of Captain America is weird because in canon, comic canon, the person that Bernice is supposed to be is Peggy Carter.
Peggy, that's what I'm thinking. Okay.
And Captain America always had this weird love thing with Peggy Carter's daughter, Sharon Carter. Yes. I mean, he was in love with the mom, and then he comes back and goes for the daughter. I always thought that was a little weird myself.
Did they ever explain why he does it that way, or is it just how they write it?
Why? Because she looks like her mom.
That's creepy, though. Like,
I know,
really eerie. Especially because the age difference. Like, come on.
I mean, technically, he's still the same age as he always was, but
it's like it's like the vampire thing.
I guess
like, it's like Twilight. Like she wants to screw a 1,000-year-old vampire.
But the difference is that vampire lived those 1,000 years. This guy was in suspended animation essentially. He didn't live. He didn't gain the experiences that the vampire would over the same amount of time. You know what I'm saying? That's
a good argument.
It's
like,
different.
I just can't go, but he's still mindset of the 1940s or whenever he's born.
The difference, the reason why the age difference thing is weird is not because of the number. It's because of the experiences and everything you gain as you go on.
To me, it's both, honestly.
I mean, really,
and also the fact that he's dating the mom's daughter, like that.
Well, that's also that's weird, no doubt about it. Yeah. But if a guy is 150 years old and he's dating an 18-year-old girl, but the guy's only actually lived 18 years, he only has the 18 years experience. If he was frozen from infancy for 132 years. Does that, and he's grown up to be 18, does that really make a difference, the number?
To me, yes. I guess, and the difference as in it's creepy, not that it's creepy, it's weird. That's all. Like, creepy is the vampire one. the example you just gave is weird because I'm not used to it. That's all.
Well, that's my
It's
point.
just-
The numbers mean absolutely nothing. It's the experience that an older person has to be able to manipulate a person younger than them who is not as experienced into it.
Yeah.
And not saying that everybody older manipulates younger people. Sometimes it just happens that way, but there's a power dynamic involved there.
Okay, I can give you that.
That's why it's weird. It's not an actual number thing.
It's the conscious thing, whatever you want to call it.
No, I don't really think so. I just think numbers are numbers. I think it's like in this case, because he's in suspended, it's like if you get frozen for 50 years and you wake up, do you automatically have to date 80-year-olds because that's how old you are?
Yeah.
You know? It makes no sense.
I think I wouldn't want to date, at that point, personally, I wouldn't want to date anyone. It's just at least for a little bit, because it's just a culture.
Yeah, but eventually, 2 years down the line, when you get used to the society and stuff, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I am lonely. I might as well try to fit in this world somewhere." And you'll probably,
maybe not, because I think in the back of my head, I'll still have that I'm her granddad. Essentially, like I would have that in the back of my mind. I think,
but you're not.
I know I'm not, but I think that that little voice will I think too old for this.
You have the same problem that a lot of people do. You're trained to think in numbers when numbers really don't matter.
You're not wrong. You're definitely what you're saying is right. I just think if it were to weirdly happen to me, that little voice would be in the back of my head. I would still try to make something happen, make something really happen, but I think that was just like, this is kind of weird.
Not really. I just don't see it. Because technically you are older, but if you're frozen like that, you don't age.
You don't.
So you can't really be getting older. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally agree.
That's my opinion. I don't think that age thing doesn't. The age thing doesn't bother me as much as that he's going after his former girlfriend's daughter.
That's the weird part.
That's the weird part, because he's had a relationship with the mom, and then your daughter looks like you. It's kind of weird.
So it's like, hey, have you old lady? Don't have the that's.
And it's now back to the character. Obviously, Bernice is not Peggy.
Yeah, how we get on that?
I don't know. I don't remember. But obviously, Bernice is not Peggy Carter. But Bernice was a love interest for Captain America. It was like in the 80s when he was unfrozen again.
Wait, 80s and comic book timeline or like our timeline?
And comic book timeline, because Captain America was Captain America in 1942, and then in the 50s, after the war and stuff, he became less popular, so they canceled his comic book. He was revived in 1962, around that time, by Stan Lee, and they explained his accident that he was frozen in a block of ice. And then, with the comic book slide in scale time, the time doesn't really advance the same way as it does in real life. So, 1960 is he's in 1960 is not 1960, 1970 is not 1970. So by 1980, he got a girlfriend named Bernice, and she was kind of combined with Peggy Carter in this instance. I don't know why they didn't just use Peggy Carter.
So yeah, Steve Rogers, saying goodbye to his family. He meets up with not Peggy, and Bernice. He calls her Bernie. They have a really dramatic goodbye, like, I love you, I'm going to miss you, because I'm already going to be, blah, 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 whatever. And now Steve is driven to a nice little diner.
You know what's funny about the scene?
What?
Steve Rogers drives away in this car with the scientist lady, who, by the way, is not the scientist from the comic. They gender swapped her, and for some reason, I don't know why.
So who's the scientist in the comic book then?
I think it's the one from the movie, but I'm not 100%. I didn't look it up before.
The guy with the glasses, the little short pudgy dude.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
I think it's the same name, but essentially he's a German scientist that came over. They just gender swapped it. I don't know why. I guess they felt women would be more susceptible to it. A woman would be more susceptible to, like, oh no, the horrors, and men are evil.
More motherly of her. Yeah, that's fair.
That's the only reason I could think they gender swapped it. But anyway, so Steve Rogers gets into the car with the scientist, and they drive away. And then it switches over to the diner, and it says 4 hours later. And it was like, oh, I guess they were driving for 4 hours. And it wasn't. It was just two other people. I wrote in my notes, 4-hour later car drive.
Because it's from night to day or day to night.
Yeah.
No, actually, the cut I'm looking at says 1 week later.
Was it? Oh, maybe I wrote a week then.
Yeah.
That actually makes more sense. It makes it sound more ridiculous. They were driving for a week.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote, yeah.
Oh, man, this is a fun movie. So yeah, a week later, yeah, they end up in a diner. Forget what it's called. Roses, R-O-Z, apostrophe S, Roses Cafe. The reason I'm saying all this stuff to you guys is because it comes in later, kinda. So let's get that out of the way. It's Roses Cafe. And the two men walk in. Waitress has a gun to them under the thing for safety. And they go back to the back room and reveal a big secret spy room.
Yeah, it's in a coat hanger. The secret levers, you have to pull down certain coat hangers. It's stupid.
I actually, it's stupid, but I really did enjoy it. Because I was recalling in the current ones, like the Captain America is a spy kind of genre movie, isn't it?
Well,
not?
yeah, they do this scene from this. Captain America: First Avenger pretty much does this whole scene, except it's not in a diner, where they have to go to a place and it's a secret. They go behind, it's a secret door, and they go underneath and stuff.
Yeah, so like I'm enjoying this a lot. I don't know. I'm gonna tell you guys this now. When I first saw the original Captain America: First Avenger, I wasn't a big fan of it. But after seeing this one, I'm enjoying this Captain America, this storytelling. So hopefully, when I get back to the Captain America: First Avenger with you guys, I can see the difference between that and this, and just maybe appreciate it more.
I don't know. I always thought Captain America: First Avenger was one of the better ones.
I thought it was one of the weaker ones for some reason.
I don't know.
But hopefully, my opinion will change.
You know, it's an army spy thriller period piece. It's kind of like a movie film student's dream, you know?
You would think that, but I don't like. There's a lot of time period pieces I don't care for, especially World War II. World War II. It's like, it's been overdone, so it's like, At the time, I really didn't care.
I mean, I get, there's some places that just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
Like, if you tell a story, and I don't really like Japanese culture.
Yes, I think that's crazy, but okay.
It's like, you tell me a samurai story, and it just doesn't grab me for some reason. It's like, it's samurai culture. That's interesting. Which is funny, because I do an anime review show. But
yeah, it's weird. I never thought about that.
But, it's like, it just doesn't grab me. And so I get not liking period pieces in specific places, because it just doesn't grab you.
Yeah.
But, it's like someone not liking cowboys in the America West, because it just doesn't grab them.
Exactly.
Or Vikings in Northern Europe.
Exactly. Or futuristic stuff. Or any fill in the blanks place. I get it.
So, I mean, I get that. But, it's to each their own, I guess.
Yeah. Like I said, when we get to the new Captain, or the next Captain America after this, my opinion might change on it. Like,
just for an instance, I know you're not into video games, but did you see, like, the Ghost of Tsushima game that came out recently?
The Japanese one,
yeah,
right?
The Samurai Sword one?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It does. It's an amazing game from what I've heard, and it looks amazing, but I just have no interest.
And like you said, I totally understand that, because it's just not your cup of tea.
Yeah, and I was like, I can acknowledge that it's good, and it just, But, back to Captain America, because we keep going on tangents here.
Yeah, so, what I was going to say about this scene, I like the general that looks like he'd be related to Tony Stark, like he would play his dad, the one with the mustache.
Oh. Yeah, he's only in it for like 3 scenes.
Yeah, if that. But I liked he seems charismatic. He seems like a Stark. But
to me, Howard Stark wasn't actually comically canon in comic canon at the site, essentially.
Well, he was in the movies.
He was in the movie.
We're doing this a lot with this movie podcast. You're right. So he was with the movies, but not.
Yeah, he wasn't in there. I mean, obviously, Captain America's origin came out in 1940s, like 1942. I think Captain America came out, but I don't think Iron Man was created until
60s, right?
Yeah, 1963. So, and even then, I don't even know when Howard Stark was even introduced, because it was Tony Stark.
Exactly. And then after that, when would they make him, if at all, crossover of Iron Man like that? Not Iron Man, Captain America.
Howard Stark was August 1st, 1970. He was introduced in Iron Man number 28.
1970, 28? He was 63? So 7 years, 28 issues?
No, I'm pretty sure Iron Man was... not many comic book characters come in and star in their own comic, they're usually introduced in another character's comic.
Yeah, Steve Rogers turned to Captain America using looks like a series of shocks instead of injections.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the origin. From what I've seen, Captain America has been, like, obviously in the movie, he's injected in some comic book channels. Like, I just did a PSA called Captain America Meets the Asthma Monster.
I hate you, yeah.
I just did that review on my comic podcast. And in that one, he gets his powers by drinking a potion.
So it's always been a form of a liquid, not whatever's going on in this.
That's true, too. I didn't even realize they just electrocuted this poor guy to death here.
Yeah, they just, like, zap. And then once his transformation is complete, guess what? There's a Nazi spy there, and he starts shooting up the place. He kills a guard, I guess. Shoots the doctor lady, and shoots up Steve Rogers twice. But before Steve Rogers goes down, Captain America at this time, goes down, he throws that guy into a panel and then electrifies him. And I thought that scene was just fantastic. Because they stick on him for a good few minutes, and him just getting zapped. It's like, this is great.
It was very cartoony and very comic booky.
Yes. But Steve Rogers, Captain America, says goodbye to his doc mom lady. And he wakes up in a hospital, I guess, a few hours.
You skipped over the best part of that scene, though.
Oh, what?
Well... The general introduces the guy, and he says, "Hi, I'm Hell Hitler," and it shoots him in the face.
Yeah!
So ridiculous.
You like that?
That was so stupid. It's so over the top. It's just... How do you not talk about that?
I don't know, because I want to say Hell Hitler on mic and have that someone misquote that.
Yeah, whatever. Hell Hitler.
Hell Hitler. This movie I enjoy a lot just for the fact it was over the top, but not too over the top.
Yeah, but like I said, that's where we have problems with tone. Sometimes it's for kids, and sometimes it's not.
Yes, because there is, I feel like, I can't say deep stuff in this, but like there's some conversations that like go over.
I'm just gonna spoil it now. Captain America gives a thumbs up smile to the president later.
I love that scene. Hey, Mr. President. Thank you.
Then gives a big smiley thumbs up. It's like, what is it? What am I watching here?
So they're talking about Captain America, like in earshot of him as he's knocked out in the bed. Like, we gotta hurry up and stop this rocket from hitting them DC because the Russians are sending it. And Captain America stands up, still wounded and off his hospital bed. So where are you saying this rocket's coming from? I'm like, yeah, Cap, we got you.
So hold on, I gotta interrupt again. This rocket is going to be launched by the Germans, and only Captain America, guy who just got his powers 10 minutes ago, is the only person who can save the day. They have no special ops teams, no black ops teams, nothing. No
counter missiles, nothing.
And we learn a little later that both the Submariner and the Human Torch both exist in this universe at this time, and those superheroes can't come and save the day.
Right?
So only Captain America could do this job. The American government is incompetent. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're staying out. You're staying all the facts. So we cut to him in a plane, getting ready to parachute out. And he's having a conversation with this Stark. I don't know what the guy's name is. Just General. And there's exposition. So he says, and he's like we were saying, I'm a new guy. I don't even know how to use the shield yet. Don't have much practice. And he says, and this suit is brightly colored, so no camouflage, but it's fire resistant. So we get that heads up. And then he just parachutes on out. And he lands, and he parachutes during the day and lands in the night.
Yeah, because it takes that long. Oh, when he jumps out of the plane, like the strap from inside the plane goes with them. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
I don't know if they were in a real plane or something, but the yellow strap from inside, he jumps out and it goes with him like he was connected to it or something.
That's weird, because that's how the parachute usually ignites, is when they jump out like that, that's where it pulls it out.
Yeah, no, but like there was like a yellow strap, like a seatbelt or something that was in the plane.
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
And it goes out with him, so I'm wondering if he was connected for some reason.
Like I said, that's connected to the parachute.
Oh, okay, that was connected.
From I can't say I'm not a paratrooper, never was, but from the movies I've seen, my limited knowledge of the Air Force and military, when a person jumps out from a military plane like that with a backpack of that parachutes and all that, they jump and that thing like unhooks itself and pulls out the parachute, I believe. But do not quote me on that. That's just my limited civilian knowledge. But it could be a goof. I don't know. But anyway, he jumps in the day, lands in the night. He ends up at the Nazi base by himself. He still has a jacket on for some reason. And he has a shield. He gets spotted. He throws that shield at one of those watchtowers and just obliterates it. Like, damn, that shield is strong. And actually, this is the first movie where he has a shield, doesn't he? Because in the movie, the last one, he had a gun, correct?
Yeah, but unfortunately, in this movie, his shield's made of plastic.
Yes.
It looks cheap and looks like it's going to break at any moment.
Although there were some instances where it's like, man, that thing went through the building and it's like stuck in the wall, so it kind of looks believable. Yeah, no gun this time, just straight up shield. And his outfit, guys, is comically spot on, and it's terrible. I realized watching it, his ears on his costume is fake. They're like sewn on ears. Did you notice that?
What? I'm sorry?
His ears on the costume are fake ears. They're like sewn on.
Oh, the wings? Yeah.
No. The wings and then the ears. The ears underneath his costume.
I didn't see the ears now.
Oh god, they're bad. Why not have slits for his ears? So anyways, he stumbles into this base and he finds the Red Skull. The Red Skull. And the Red Skull's quippy, he's talking broken German English. But his makeup is so gruesome looking. The 2000 whatever version was nice looking, it was smooth. This is like, oh, he is hideous.
What do you expect for 1990?
No, I guess he's supposed to be hideous, I guess, right? He's not supposed to be cool.
And on a $3 million budget.
Yeah, that too. Luckily, they cover it up later with a fake mask.
Speaking of prices, how much did it cost to have Tony Stark's parents killed? $1. Get it? Because Bucky Barnes killed him?
So Captain America tassels his Red Skull, and Captain America gets his ass handed to him. He gets stabbed with something and just knocked out, and Red Skull ties him up to a rocket. Has a few lines. Captain America says, "Come closer, I gotta tell you something." Holds his hands, and Red Skull goes to cut, I guess, Cap's hand off, but the rocket starts to go, so he cuts his arm off, or his hand off by accident, which never comes into play later.
No, I think he cut off his own hand because he couldn't get away. But yeah, I was going to bring that up. Him cutting off his own hand makes no sense whatsoever.
No.
Within the story context, because it never plays a factor.
No, I thought it would, but nothing. Is that comically a thing in the books?
Red Skull still's got both his arms.
So what the they do that for?
I don't know.
Made him look like a jackass. Anyways, so they send off the rocket, and it's aiming towards the White House. And Captain America.
This scene,
which one?
With the rocket and the kid. We'll get to it later. I just want to say this scene is worse than any pun that I've ever said.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's probably one of the worst scenes I've seen in all the movies we've seen so far. I guess the kids, if it was mom, he's visiting Washington D.C. with his mom. She's trying to make him go to bed, etc., etc. 4 a.m. in the morning. Hey, kid, go to sleep. It's 4 a.m. Why when I go to sleep? Mom is in Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
that's exciting, kid.
I gotta say that Washington, D.C. is not that exciting. I've been there.
No, it really isn't. Especially at nighttime. There's nothing, whatever.
And you know what else is not exciting? The president. I don't know why this kid's so excited about the president.
Right?
But to be fair, this is all foreshadowing.
But this seems so stupid. So the rocket starts to come towards the kid because he slinks out of his apartment to take a picture of the White House at night. And the rocket's headed right towards the kid. And then Captain America starts kicking it and just redirects the rocket out of shot, missing the kid. This
is so stupid for so many reasons.
And then here's logic. Hold on. So the rocket's going from Russia, mind you.
Yeah.
To America, to D.C., and he re-kicks it. We're at to Alaska.
Well, yeah.
What?
One, if he's that strong that he can kick this rocket and bend it, why did he wait till it almost hit the White House? If that kid wasn't there, would he have let the rocket hit the White House? Because it sure looked like he was going to. Two, how much fuel does this rocket have that it can go from Russia to America to Washington, D.C.? Russia is on the opposite side of the west coast of California.
Yes.
So it goes all the way to the east coast of America. But he kicks it enough that it goes all the way back to the west coast of the Americas, because Alaska is on the western side of Canada.
Yep.
So what?
Unless they went from Russia to America the longer way and then up to Alaska.
And
either way.
And three, even if all that's possible, he's got fuel and everything else. He kicked it enough that it went over the White House. So Captain America technically should have kept going east into the Atlantic and landed somewhere that way, not back that way. Because they show him change directions.
It didn't. It really didn't.
So,
oh, it's so dumb.
This was really bad.
Yes, like, this is probably like the worst scene.
It's so bad that I'm going to give you a pun.
Do I earn that? That I deserve that scene and a bad pun?
What do you call the baby of Hulk and Captain America?
What?
A Star-Spangled Banner.
I like that one, actually. Terrible. But anyways, Captain America lands in Alaska and just gets stuck in ice and frozen there for a few years. Like, he's not unconscious, I guess. And then we cut to Springfield, Ohio, where the kid is now back home from Washington to Ohio. And we're sitting on the bed with his friend, Sam. What's this kid's name? Oh, the kid's name is Tom. That's important. So they're going over who Tom took a picture of the Captain America. A very bad picture, by the way. It's just straight blackness. I don't know how you see any detail in it at all. And so this is the scene where they're trying to go over, well, who could it be? Do you have a trident? No, that's not Submariner, and whoever the other one you said was.
Yeah, Submariner is Namor from Marvel Comics.
He's their version of
Aquaman.
Yes.
And he's sometimes portrayed as a bad guy, sometimes he's a hero, but he was one of the earliest Marvel heroes. The Human Torch is another early hero from that, but it's not the Human Torch you're thinking of. You're thinking of the Fantastic Four. The Human Torch in the 1940s was actually a robot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
don't they rename him to the Red Tornado, or no?
No, Red Tornado is DC.
That is DC. I'm sorry. Okay.
So yeah, I just want to point out this is where we find out that there are other heroes in this world. So
after that, there's like a little newspaper musical montage from that time period to the 90s, I think.
Yeah, where we learn that the kid that is obsessed with the presidents, over time, he's getting elected to different offices and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's gone to the moon, been top of his class, and now he's the president by the narrowest win in history, I believe they said.
I don't know.
There's margin.
But here's what I was saying. After this, so now we're in the present.
Yes.
And no one's heard of Captain America.
Yes.
That is weird, because in every other depiction that I've seen, Captain America is like a pop icon by the time in the present he shows up back in the present. Everybody knows who he was. He was a war hero. So in this Captain America is a failure. He shows up, tries to stop the Nazis, gets his ass kicked and sent on a rocket, and that's his only mission. So
are you reading my notes? Because I wrote down on my notes, Cap sucks at his job. So yeah. No one knows him. Like, he was a failed experiment, essentially, like a very botched experiment in this movie.
Yeah, so, I mean, they changed his origin, all right.
Now, did you like this one or no? This origin of him?
So when I'm watching these older movies, I don't consider them canon.
Oh, okay.
I consider them in different worlds and stuff like that.
Like another artist, interpretation of the movie, or
because there's in comic books, there's the Omniverse and DC, and Marvel has infinite worlds and infinite dimensions that they've played in. So this could be on any world. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And in fact, I'm sure this Captain America has a number, and I'll find out for you.
Comics, I guess. Like, they took this and put it in the comics.
Well, they always give these comics. These movies a number. Earth 697,064. So yeah, they each have their own numbers. And because I don't think we said it in the last one, the Punisher from that movie is
we did say it.
58,627.
Yes, you did mention it.
Did I?
Also, I'm sorry, before we continue, early in the movie, when we first meet Steve Rogers, he's limping. And they say he has polio. This kid with polio is going to become a super soldier. Is that why he was limping? Yes.
I thought I thought he had a bad, like a fake leg or something.
Yeah, no. I was thinking, like, why is he limping? Then they mentioned that before he turns into a Superman, Captain America. Does he ever have that in the books? Was that a thing? Or he's always a scrawny kid?
Don't think so.
Well, Tom is now president. His name's Tom Kimball. Kimball. and he's now president. His main thing is, I want to save the world. So, let's stop polluting stuff, guys, and energy and Greenpeace, blah, blah, blah. And he's having this meeting with his general. By the way, this meeting with his general threw me off just for the fact the president's wearing jeans. I don't think I've ever seen the president, while being president, wear jeans. At least not in my lifetime, obviously. I'm younger.
He's casual president. He's
very casual.
He's the good guy president. He's going to fix the environment.
Yeah. And with this meeting with the general, seemed like the general was into they have a meeting. It's very ominous, and the general says before he leaves, "By the way, good luck in Russia, or wherever he's going to take a trip at." And the way the general stops and says that, and they pause, seems like the general's in on something, and that they never go to him being into it, right?
What's the general in on the whole thing?
Yeah, because when the president gets kidnapped, and et cetera, later on in the movie.
Yeah, the general's he's at the meeting with the Red Skull and all the bad guys, and he's at the end.
I never noticed him there.
Yeah, and in that meeting where they're all talking, he's the one that's saying we have to kill the president.
I did not know.
And when Captain America comes to save him, he's there too, and the president punches him.
I missed that. I thought it was some other white dude.
No, it was that general guy with the ear, right? You're talking about that one?
Yeah, because later on he gets interviewed, if the president's missing, we get to about it. Don't worry about it for now. Rubs his ear.
He's the reason why. He's the reason why they knew about the tracker in the president's tooth and stuff.
That's okay, because I thought it was coincidental stuff. Okay, he just did not stick out to me. This guy.
He's the second antagonist, essentially.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like I said, this is their version of Hell Hydra, so that makes sense.
And this is the only Captain America that I can find that has polio.
Okay.
Oh, and I don't know if I said it in that review, but Howard the Duck is 58,470 world.
Okay, now we're back in the Fort Lorenzo, and there's this scene's not important, really honestly. They're just talking about the evil plans. But we see the Red Skull.
And this is where the general is telling him we have to kill the president, and Red Skull goes, no, that's just going to turn him after we assassinated Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy. And
yes, but that's the thing. Well, hold on, before we see the Red Skull again. And this is he has his makeup on. They say a lot of facial reconstruction surgery, so he's no longer a Red Skull. He's got a weird face, and I think it's pretty badass looking. But
you know what he looks like here though?
What?
He looks like a Dick Tracy villain.
Yes, he's very cartoonish looking, right?
He looks like a Dick Tracy mob villain.
Yes.
So
his hair's sleek back and everything.
I mean, he looks cool, but he doesn't look like the Red Skull.
No, not the Red Skull at all.
It feels like we're in a different movie. That's for sure.
Yes. Yes, I feel like every chapter is a different movie for this movie. But you mentioned how he has killed the Kennedy brothers, MLK, pretty much done all the things, and that is such a X-Men thing to do, to tie your current story into previous historic disasters. And I had a big eye roll at that moment. Anyway, we cut to the present day 1990s Alaska, and some Germans, I believe. Germans discovered Captain America's hand sticking out the ice for some reason. I thought he'd be buried deeper than that by this point.
Well, no, the ice caps are melting. So
they dig him out, and it's a big block of ice, like a big ice cube, a Captain ice cube, and they call for help or something like that. And while they're waiting, he starts breaking out and just pops out the ice. It's like a Bigfoot moment because he's like, huh. Funny, he doesn't have a shield in the ice, but when he's staying outside the ice, he has a shield with him. Don't know how that happens. Continuity, doesn't matter. And he just runs away, and somehow they snap a picture before he leaves. They cut back to the president calling his long friend, it's Sam Beatty.
It's Ned Beatty.
Ned Beatty, the character's name, Sam.
You have the name confused. You're confusing the actor with, you might as well just said Sam Otis.
So then we cut to, there's a weird scene the Red Skull finds out Captain America is alive and sends his daughter as her henchman.
This made no sense too.
Yes, why?
Because the Red Skull sees that Captain America is still alive.
Yes.
And he just has no reaction. He's all nonchalant about it. He's like, oh, I guess he's coming to stop me. What? How do you know that he's coming to stop you?
Right?
How are you not more surprised that he's still alive after 50 years?
Don't you want to avenge your hand? Have a reaction, Red Skull.
That made no sense at all. He really did not care about Captain America, considering he should have been a little more, something, instead of oh, that's interesting. Go kill him now.
So anyways, Captain America's deciding, I'm going to run from Alaska down Canada to America. Yeah, Captain, do that. And so He
Well,
gets
I mean, technically he can. Alaska is connected to Canada. So.
no, he definitely can, but it's just like why? Why do it that way? There's
Because
other ways.
there's no cars. He's in the middle of nowhere.
He had researchers who dug him up. They could. Well, then again, when he I don't know. I don't know. So he's on his way down to Canada, and helicopters flying over.
This is where the logic breaks comes in for me.
Yes.
How did they know where he was?
Yes. Not only helicopters fly over. Spoiler: it's the Russians. They know where Captain America is.
Well, no, it's not the Russians. It's the Nazis.
It's the Russian Nazis. And also, there's a pickup truck driving down, and guess who it is? It's the president's fat friend, Sam, because he knows where Captain America is. He's following a map, and he's like, okay, Captain America must be here. What?
Yeah, I don't. That was ridiculous. They know the exact spot that he was gonna be in.
Yes. Because they not only did the helicopters land, somehow the helicopters had dirt bikes with them, and they're just dirt biking through the forest to get to. All that made no sense to me. But whatever. They shoot out of the woods, and Sam saves Cap. And while Sam's explaining to him everything that's happened in the past X amount of years, Captain's like, "Oh my god, made in Japan, made in Germany. All the products in here are just this isn't
he has
my
a
America."
Sam has a tape recorder made in Japan. He's in a German Volkswagen, and this guy's talking about he's been frozen for 50 years.
Yes.
So of course
these people died, but you don't know who these people are. And he's like, "Can you pull over so someone to get sick?"
Which is an understandable reaction for what
Yes.
he's been.
I like this little trick because then he gets off the car, walks away for like 20 feet, pretends to throw up, and I guess Sam gets out the car to check on him. And Captain America just runs back to the car.
It's so stupid.
I love it.
Captain America
It's so clever.
Captain America car thief. Captain America, man, it's so stupid how he steals it. He's because he walks, but you're right, 20 feet away, and then poor Sam waddles his way over to him, and Captain America just turns around and jogs back to the car, gets in, and drives away. It's so stupid.
I love it. And why it's so funny, because he does it again later in the movie. Like, what? Why is this a thing he does? Oh, it's so good. I like this movie a lot. I'm sorry to say. I like this movie way more than I expected. So anyways, he's hitchhiking. It's another shitty montage in this movie.
Oh, I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
During the Captain America, when he's being turned into Captain America, the scientist says he's not going to be a Superman.
Yes.
So there was a Superman reference.
Now, were you thinking Superman existed, or do you think just the comic books existed?
No, I'm pretty sure, because Marvel and DC kind of have their own versions of each other's characters, but I'm pretty sure their characters are comic books in their world.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
No, that's what I was thinking too, but okay. Shitty cross-country montage and culture shock for Captain America, because he's hitchhiking through not pickup trucks, tractor trailers. There's this bad 90s made for this movie.
Oh my god,
playing.
this love song is so bad, and it goes on forever.
It goes on way too long. It goes on for like a minute, but it's a minute too long.
No, it goes on forever. It is the shittiest, crappiest country rock love song ever.
Oh, it's like Creed covers someone else bad. I don't know. It's just okay. So he finally ends up in California.
And one more thing.
yeah.
When Captain America crashes in Alaska, the word says somewhere in Alaska. Yes. But when we cut back to where we find them, they just says Alaska.
I know. This movie's not consistent.
So it's like, what, they found out where they were all of a sudden?
Right. So yeah, Captain America finally ends up at home sweet home in New Bank, California, wherever it was. And he gets back to the house he left. And who he meets first? He meets, what's her name? Shit. Sandra?
Sharon. How do you not know Sharon Carter? She's in the movies.
I don't like Captain America, the first Avenger, so I never learned any of the characters' names besides Captain America.
Sharon Carter is in...
all of them, right?
Winter Soldier.
Yes.
I think she's in Civil War.
Yep.
And you don't know her name?
Nope. Between her and Peggy, I've always felt I missed something, so I always got those two mixed up and just didn't care about those two.
That's because they're mother and daughter.
Yeah, exactly. They were such bland characters, like, oh, his love interest. Don't care. I only cared about him, Black Widow,
that's going to be controversial.
Falcon. I guess, because they were just there. Love interest. I don't give a shit. Whatever. So he runs into Sharon Carter, right? Her name's Carter?
Sharon Carter.
Okay.
You know what's funny about Sharon Carter? She actually killed Captain America in the comics. She was the one that killed him at the end of the Civil War.
Why'd she kill him?
She was brainwashed by the Red Skull.
That's fascinating. God, there's so much I want to see. So he meets Sharon Carter. She beats him up because she thinks he's a creep. Her mom comes out. Well, the first this old dude comes out.
No, her mom comes out.
She's like, "Oh, it couldn't be."
Her mom comes out in the worst old makeup I've ever seen.
I love it. No, it's bad because not that it's bad makeup. It's bad because the old man next to her is an actual old man. So seeing a real old person next to this old makeup is like, no, that's not. Something's wrong. So it's just that's why to me it was bad.
Well, when they showed her by herself, I still noticed it, and it was still bad.
I can see that. I didn't notice it that much. It wasn't.
I noticed it. It bothered me. I was like, this is the same girl I saw earlier. Especially since they showed her just minutes before as like as he looked at the daughter. Oh, that's my girlfriend.
Well, she doesn't look nothing like her daughter.
I know, but
yeah,
storytelling.
So this old man comes out to beat him up, but she stops him.
I actually recognize that actor. I don't know who he is though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know from where.
But they have their like little reunion, and then we cut to Red Skull doing his thing. Not important. So we cut to Sam. He finds a folder of. He has a folder of Captain, or is it Captain America, or no? It's what's his name? Steve Rogers at the time, and other people introducing where he lives, where he could be. So he's doing his research. Cut back to Steve Rogers and the gang catching up on old times. And
yeah, they're watching VHSs. Those are video cassettes for you kids these days.
Yes. What's a video cassette? It's what we used to watch movies on. They don't hold much knowledge. But actually, Sharon and Kath are at her apartment, I guess.
Yeah, at Sharon's apartment.
Okay. Because Sam comes meeting up, knocks on the door, and it's at Bernie. He calls her Bernie, right?
Yeah,
Bernice's house, her and her husband. And as Sam tries to get in, he gets shot in the back by the Ruskies, the Red Skull's daughter, and she breaks in.
They're Nazis, by the way. They're German.
Are they German?
Well, technically, I guess all the other guys are German, but since she's the Red Skull's daughter...
And Red Skull's Russian, right? Or no?
Red Skull's Italian. He was the Italian boy that got kidnapped. Yes. Oh, speaking of which, Red Skull did have a daughter in the comics, too, so they didn't really use her in the same way, but she was a villain and stuff, and she eventually became the Red Skull.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It has no bearing on this movie, so...
No, just fun tidbits. The Red Skull's daughter, did she even have a name in this movie? I'm calling her Daughter Skull.
She did. It was Valentina DeSantis.
I'm calling her Val. So Val comes in, guns a blazing. Not really, but
her real name is Francesca Neri.
Oh, that's who that was. That's who she played.
Francesca Neri, I think is how it's for Francesca. I don't know if it's Cheska or Seska. I think it's Seska because there's no H.
She's very pretty, by the way. She's in Collateral Damage and Hannibal. She's in some good movies. Don't do this to me, TJ. So anyways, Val comes in asking, where's Captain America? And
you think her name in this movie is bad? The Red Skull's real name was Tadizo DeSantis.
I remember them saying it. Like, I can't ever say that properly. And she's like, where's Cap? And Bernie's like, I ain't gonna tell you shit. You redheaded bitch. She doesn't say that. I'm just having creative liberty.
Oh, I really do gotta stop you here.
You dick, what?
I don't know if it was just my version. But did you have problems with the subtitles in other languages?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say that. Like, in the beginning, there's like a good minute of conversation, and you get like a line of dialogue.
Yeah, because I've had some problems understanding what was happening.
Yes. Like, there's literally people just talking, you'll see like one line, and there's like barely any kind of context clue, like, what?
Yeah, and then Captain America goes to Italy later, and they have a whole conversation in Italian, and I'm like, what's going on?
There's 3 people talking Italian, and you get 2 lines from it. You don't know who said what. Like, what? What? Okay.
So, I just want to make sure, because I have the Blu-ray of this, which is the most recent release.
Yep.
So I didn't know if it was the Blu-ray or if it was just how the movie was made.
Oh, man, I forgot to mention that earlier. Thank you for bringing that up. I was like, is this creative choice, or like they just not have the budget for subtitles? Like, what happened?
I don't know, but it was bothering me at a certain place. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Because literally the first like 5 minutes of this movie, there's like all Russian and Italian. So I had no idea.
And it wasn't Italian, it's Italian and German. There is no Russians in this.
I don't know why I'm keeping whatever. No, there aren't Russians. So yeah, it's Italian and German the whole beginning. It's like, am I watching the wrong version of this movie?
And I think the beginning was just all Italian.
Yeah. So yeah, she says, "You redheaded bitch," and she's like, "I don't take kindly to that."
She didn't say that, by the way, but
she doesn't. But in my mind, she does. And so the lady shoots the dad a few times. And he knocks out, and then we come back to notice, and we don't know what happens. So we cut the cap and lady
watching, Martin Luther King's
speech
and Kennedy's funeral, and
he's slowly realizing that guy in the truck who I stole from was telling the truth. Mm-hmm. Oh man, am I the bad guy?
Well, no, he just realized, oh crap, he was telling the truth.
And then they get back to the apartment or the real house, and they find out everyone got shot up. And
so they killed the mom because she wouldn't tell them where Captain America is. They kill Sam because I guess he was just there, but they only shoot the dad in the shoulder and left the witness.
Well, I guess they figured they're bad at their job, that's for sure. And B, I just figured they thought those two were dead because they got shot and laid on the ground.
But he got shot in the shoulder. They didn't even bother to check. They're bad assassins.
They're very bad. They're very bad assassons. Shooting a guy in the back of the general's back because he could live.
They weren't even hard kills. They literally went there and killed an old couple. One
out of shape man and an old couple. Easy targets, guys. Anyway, the general on the news is saying, yeah, or they do this news break as they're at the place, and they're saying, "Oh, the president's been kidnapped."
Oh no!
Hey, movies, president's easy to get kidnapped apparently. And the general says, "Don't worry, guys, we'll figure this out by tomorrow." Looks at the screen, rubs his ear in a weird, suspicious way.
He's been rubbing his ear since 1946, so he's got to be like 70 in this movie, right?
Most people in this movie don't age up, so yeah, I would say so, right?
Yeah, because it was like 1942 and we're 1990, so.
Yeah,
and he was in his 20s or in the 40s. So
not even his 20s, probably early 30s, because you can't be that high ranking.
It's a movie.
That too. So Captain America brings Sharon to his old hideout where he got transformed, and now it's a modern day diner, still the same name, just
they didn't bring it to his old hideout. It's just where the experiment takes place.
Yeah, I love this because he walks past everybody straight to the ladies' room, I guess, opens it, everyone's running out. He just throws the sink at it, right? Just bursts down that wall.
Does he throw the sink at it? I thought he just punched through it, kicked through it. I mean, he might have. I don't remember.
He throws something through it and broke that damn wall down.
Oh, the only thing I remember in that scene was Sharon trying to pull him out of the women's bathroom, saying, you can't go in there.
Trust me, it's just fine. I do this all the time.
And then no one else bothers to go check on them because there's like 5 minutes before the bad guys show up. No one in the diner called the cops or.
By the way, it's like midday and the diner is packed.
And nobody went to see what's happening.
Anyways, they get to the old dusty lab area and they look around. They find the diary,
this is like a secret serum for a Captain America, and there was a bunch of American officials. There was a murder there, and they did not take her diary as evidence, as like for research or anything. She just left her diary in the old research lab.
Well, why was the diary there in the first place? Like, why wouldn't it be at her house or something?
Because I think it was her lab.
Oh, that makes more sense.
But when she was murdered, in that scene, they didn't take the diary, with the secrets that could possibly have the Red Skull's name in it.
Anything. They left everything there.
Yeah, it's kind of bad.
Yeah, like if the government's going to clean up an area, they're going to take all the machinery out or something. Nope, still there, just all dusty.
U.S. incompetence at its best.
USA. And then they're followed in by, shortly after, the Germans, then I guess? Italians. Whatever. They're followed in by Val and her crew. And there's a little shitty fight, like always. Fights in this are pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. They're really over-edited. And this one was shot in the dark. So
Captain America likes to smash people into things.
Yeah, he's not a fighter. He's a thrower. He throws the shield. He throws people into things.
Well, and he grabs a makeshift shield. It's like a door to a trash compactor stuff, and he uses it once and just drops it.
Yes.
Why? It's a shield. You obviously know how to use it.
But I do like the staying loyal. He doesn't use a gun once in this. I really enjoy that. Compared to the last one we saw where he only used a gun and just shot people up.
I don't know how he probably used the gun in the early comics too.
I remember it was controversial at the time because Captain America was known for using at least both. I think.
I don't think it was controversial.
Maybe
I
not.
think we thought it was weird that he had a gun, but I know Batman always used a gun in their early 30s.
No,
So
I remember reading the wiki that the creators of Captain America were kind of upset he used a gun in those serials because he's known for having a shield. I don't know, maybe not. Who cares?
I don't remember.
So
I remember Dick Parcell being murdered. Apparently,
Who's Dick Parcell?
the guy who played Captain America.
Oh yeah.
That's
forgot
what I
about that.
remember. I don't remember anything bad about guns though.
No. Anyways, so they got the diary, there's a fight, and we cut to the president being interrogated by the Red Skull and his cronies. And apparently Red Skull wants to become the president.
Well, essentially, they're going to put this chip in the president's brain, and
Yes.
then the Red Skull's going to control him, so essentially he's the president.
Yes, in a weird G.I. Joe manner. And then, what?
I just don't think G.I. Joe ever did that, but okay.
Well, the movies, they kidnap the president and they're one of the bad guys.
You've actually watched those G.I. Joe live-action movies?
The first one was kind of decent. It's like, okay, I'll give the second one a shot. Second one was, they're bad movies. They're bad movies, guys. But I enjoy bad movies. What can I say? He's doing his thing, and Captain America and Sharon decide, well, my mom's dead. This old man's in the hospital. I shouldn't care about him anymore. Let's go to Rome on a wacky adventure.
Pretty much. She gets over her parents' death pretty easily.
Right? Her dad's her dad, not even her stepdad, her real dad's in the hospital. You're gonna leave him behind.
But she's got hot Captain America next to her. She's got to,
That's true, man. What I would not do for Captain America, I guess. So they're on the road trip. They're going to find out where the origin. Wait, is it the origins of the Notebook? I guess. The details of it.
They don't know the Red Skulls. They didn't know the Red Skull's name, but they knew where he lived as
That's
a
it.
kid. So
That's
they're trying to get to his old house.
Yes. And so while driving around Rome, Captain America says, "I'm getting sick." He pulled over and does his little shenanigans again.
So yeah, Captain America Car Thieves Part 2.
I'm gonna try this one day on someone I know and see if I can actually make that work. That sounds like a fun gimmick.
he upgraded it this time though. Instead, he gets out and he goes over, and then he does his little run thing goes. But he locked the passenger side door
Yes.
this time, so she couldn't get in.
Yes.
So he could talk to her as he's driving away.
His Grand Theft Auto skills is getting up there. But anyways, he finds out where Red Skull's house was, and he tries to communicate with the lady who's like owns the
Yeah, this
house.
is where the subtitle problem came in.
Yes, because she's straight Italian. She's gorgeous, by the way. She's beautiful. These ladies in here are beautiful. He can't speak a goddamn like Italian, but who shows up? It's Sharon. She finds out. How would she remember where they lived? That would be terrible. Like, I don't know.
I don't know, but apparently she speaks fluent Italian.
Yes, she does.
Because she spent a summer in Rome once.
That makes sense. But yeah, they get in, they have a conversation. He finds some old stuff in the Red Skull's old house as a tape player. They go to a old like a radio, the Rome's Radio Shack, I guess, and decipher what's in it. She records it on her device. Then they go to a lunch date. Lo and behold, it's Val again, I guess, right? That's Val.
Yes.
Yeah, it's her and her friend, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna bump into you and let you know I'm coming here.
Yeah, that was... Why did she let them know that she was there when she's just going to go to the next table and try and shoot them? And pull out their guns very slowly so they have time to dodge out of the way.
So these assassins bump into who they're gonna assassinate, make eye contact, slowly sit down behind them, slowly pull guns out. If you're going to shoot the place like that, just shoot them up from a distance without them knowing you're going to be there. And then a dumb car chase happens, and all this crap happens, and...
No, there's one hilarious moment in the car chase.
What is it?
They're going down, they bust through a fruit stand and stuff, but they're going down this one alley, and there's just two kids in the middle of the street rolling a ball back and forth, watching the cars come right at them.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Why? I've only seen that in movies. I don't think I've ever seen two kids bored enough to sit across at each other with a ball in front of them and just slowly roll it back and forth. And so Captain America has to run and scoop them up before they run over because this is a stupid superhero movie.
So after this great chase scene of all the cliches happen, I think they escape, right? And she...
Well, he throws a bunch of money at some kids, and they get on a bicycle, and then he drives it into the ocean for some reason, and then he stays under long enough. I guess because they're bad assassins. They're like, oh, he's been under the water for 3 seconds. He's not coming back up.
Yeah, not even that long. Like, as soon as they splash down and bubble stop, like, the girl's like, okay, time to go. Bad Assassins Part 2 is great. So Sharon decides to, I'm going to go back to where we started this chase scene, and knows they dropped their pocketbook. She's going to get the pocketbook, and she goes through and identifies.
Yeah, and why are the assassins bringing their identification with them on assassinations?
Thank you. Right? I'm assassin number 1. It's what I like, is what I do. Like, why are you bringing that with you? Anyway.
At least if you're going to bring identification, make it a fake one.
Right?
You're the Red Skull's daughter, and you live in a castle.
Not the Red Skull, like I said earlier, he's like the leader of the cartel. He's like the most wanted man in the world. Why are you going to bring your real ID with you? Anyways,
we're almost done.
We're almost there. And somehow Sharon and Captain America get another car chase, and they get caught this time. I mean, I didn't pay attention how that happened.
They don't. No, they didn't get caught. So
what happens?
They chase them, they get away, but they realize they're still being chased, and Sharon's like, you're better off on your own. So she pulls the Captain America car thief trick and drives away, leaving Captain America with his stuff behind, and then she drives off and gets captured.
Oh. I don't know how I missed that, but I was like probably on my phone or something at this point.
Yeah,
this is where I checked the time, you're right.
And Captain America was like, fall for his own trick. It's like, what are you doing? And she drives away and she gets captured. And then so Captain America has to walk to the castle from there.
Yes. Carrying his briefcase, by the way, has a suit in it the whole time. Just get the audience there.
It's not really a briefcase, more of a bag, but...
Yeah, satchel, whatever you want. No, it's not a satchel. Satchel's too tiny. It's something. So we cut back to the president, and the president kind of put acid on the bars or something to weaken them.
Yeah. So the president becomes like a major character in this third act.
Yes.
And he's had like 2 scenes up until this point.
Yes.
It's like, we have to make the president a superhero too.
Because it's like a patriotic. I would love to see Michael Bay do a Captain America movie.
No, you wouldn't. Continue.
Yes, I would. Because he's like he is not a great director nor storyteller, but visually he's pro-America and all that stuff. And I just think it'd be really entertaining to do like a what if with Michael Bay directing it for Captain America.
Okay, move on.
You don't like that idea?
No.
Why not?
Because Captain America is the best movies Marvel have, and he's just going to ruin Captain America.
They are the best movies.
Like he ruined Transformers.
Well, Transformers is Transformers. Who cares about Transformers?
A lot of people cared about Transformers.
I don't know why. Well, yeah, Captain America is the best movies Marvel has, but I think like it's like they're doing the what ifs. I think so. If like they have like directors doing like their own thing, like for one spin-off movies, I think Michael Bay be a good director.
Just because you have a what if scenario doesn't justify giving a great character to a bad director.
Money wise, he's not bad because he gets the money in.
Well, if he doesn't have money, how is he going to do his explosions?
No, I'm saying like he brings the audience in.
And he sexualizes all the female characters.
That is a fact. Okay, I forgot he does that. But
granted, I think he did porn before he did movies, so it makes
commercials.
sense.
He was commercials. But also, he's not a pedophile or anything. Like, Bryan Singer was a monster.
That's not just because you're not an evil person doesn't excuse your poor work.
But like his work's not the worst.
That's like saying, hey, that guy who's an asshole to me is not a bad guy because he's not Hitler.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying he would make a fun Captain America movie.
I don't think he will. I think he'd make a Captain America movie that's boring, bland, and full of explosions.
Who owns this? Disney. If Disney/Marvel made sure that the movie was no longer than an hour 45 and not a 3.5, what?
Never happened. He won't do it otherwise.
I know, but if they made sure he stuck to the main points and then make it overly bloated, it'd be a fun movie to watch, I think. It wouldn't be great, and it wouldn't be subtle.
I think it'd be shit.
Yes, but no. Yes, it will definitely be. Compared to wrong. I know I'm wrong. Because compared to the Captain Americas we have, it would probably be one of the worst ones technically. But visually and like box office wise, it'd be the best one they made. Which would probably make them like, okay, Michael Bay, we got money in, so do another one now. And then do another one, and do a 15th one, and then let's reboot the whole series. And you do this, I'm like, okay, never mind. Talk myself out of it. So anyway, where I left off at was the president's in jail. He's like you said, he's the main character, one of the main characters now. Sharon comes in, she gets into her own jail cell, and the goons leave. The president breaks out, and he's going around, running around the castle. We're back at Fort Lorenzo, by the way, people. Fortress Lorenzo. So he's trying to get out, doing his whole running this way, running that way. He gets caught again. So he's running around, and he gets cornered. And he's like, "You need me for your plans, don't you?" And Red Skull's like, "Of course I need you for my plans. You're my main thing for this plan." And the president's like, "Well, good luck with that." and he goes to commit suicide, jumps off the edge of the fort. And who's there to save him right in the nick of time? Because coincidences in this whole movie, it's Captain America hanging outside the building. Catches him, and they go through the window of the side of the building, and they have their little powwow moments, and they get their way up through bad guys. And it's great to watch the president punch people in the face, and so does Captain America. They knock some goons out, kill some people, I guess. And now the Red Skull has this bomb out of nowhere, I guess. It's like this thing that's going to destroy most of Europe, he says. He ends up at the top of the roof, and there's a piano sitting there for some reason.
Alright, so Michael Bay did music videos.
Yes, yeah, music videos. I know, commercials and music videos.
Commercials.
He did both, because he had... I know, there's like this one commercial he did a while back that was really cool looking.
Is that where we're going to end that conversation?
Well, I thought, you're the one that brought it back up.
Yeah, I was looking to see what he was doing. That's why I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying.
No, he didn't need porn. It was, Freddy Krueger guy. Damn, what's the guy who... Russ Craven, right? He did porn.
I don't know.
He did do porn. And also the director of Swamp Thing, too.
I don't know why I thought Michael Bay did that. You just like Michael Bay, apparently.
He's a guilty pleasure. I'm not saying his movies are great, because they're not. They're shitty movies. They're long. That's my biggest fault with Michael Bay movies. They're too long for what they are. So yeah, there's a piano at the top of the thing for some reason. And the Red Skull is having his moment and just talking and monologuing. And Sharon plays the music from the recorder that was him playing the piano at the whole beginning of the movie, and it like triggers a nostalgia effect for him. He's like, oh.
Red Skull's also a bad shot.
Yes, he's got first off, the machine guns he's holding like doesn't have that many rounds. He's just shooting unlimited ammo at everyone. It's like, this is stupid.
And he has Sharon pinned on the ground. Yes. Easy shot, and he shoots all around her and completely misses.
I think he shoots in the air for some reason. But then, anyways, Captain America throws...
Oh, and the bomb's going to blow up almost of northern Europe and make it uninhabitable for the next 150 so years or so.
I already said that. But you weren't paying attention.
I really wasn't. I just heard you say the bomb and the piano. I didn't hear you mention that it was going to be a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, it's a nuclear holocaust. Same thing. So anyway, she's having this monologue, Red Skull, and Captain America says, I'm going to throw my shield at you. Throws it, and I think it hits him, doesn't it? Yeah, it hits him hard.
And knocks him off of the cliff that he's on.
Yeah,
he falls to his death and dies.
Hitting every rock going down. Like, they threw a dummy over the thing, and it's like, that's dark for a kid's show, man.
Well, this isn't a kid's show.
It's 1913. Or, sorry, PG-13.
Yeah.
Then the shield comes back.
That means they're teenagers. They're not kids.
True. Ideally. Then the shield's still in the air, and Red Skull's daughter's like, no, I'm going to shoot you next, Captain America. He's like, heads up, lady. Comes back and knocks her out. I think it kills her. Anyways, he takes his mask off, bask in the sunlight, grabs Sharon, like, we did it, babe. We did it. And that's it. Captain America credits roll.
And then it has a little radio thing during the credits saying that the president is saved. And then after he thanks Captain America, it cuts to another crappy song.
Oh, I turned it off as soon as it's not probably the same artist. It's just another. What'd you say?
Crappy country rock song.
Country ass. It's just country rock. Whoa, whoa, Captain America. Like, oh God, turn that off. But yeah, that was Captain America 1990. People, it's a movie. It's to me an enjoyable TV made movie. What'd you think, TJ?
I conked out on it about 20 minutes in.
And that's surprising to me because I made it an hour in, and that's where I clocked out.
The problem is,
yeah,
I might have been more interested in it. First Avenger hadn't done the exact story in the beginning way better.
Yes.
And so I felt like I was watching an inferior version of a better movie. If that makes sense.
I totally agree. But like when you're watching it, you definitely get.
And I have a question, by the way. So the president escapes and stuff in that last scene, but he says Sharon's stuck here too. How does he know who Sharon is? They've never met in this film. No,
he knows her name as soon as he sees her in the cells. Yeah. I don't know.
They've never met in this movie, so how does he know who he is? Is he stalking Sharon?
No, it's America, so they have taps on us on every way, from phones to computers and laptops. Yeah, man.
Well, yeah, I thought that was weird that he just happened to know who she was.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
It's a crappy movie.
It's a crap. I was thinking it while I was watching it, like, compared to the real movies we've seen that were actually in theaters in this list, it is subpar. But for it being a direct-to-DVD, made-for-TV kind of movie, it's like right in the middle of what you expect for those kind of movies, in my opinion. I guess definitely not no Batman. There's no Superman. But
I would say the first Swamp Thing is better than this.
I would say this is on par with the first Swamp Thing. It's on par with the Punisher movie.
I think it's on par with the Punisher and the second Swamp Thing movie.
Okay.
But
the first Swamp Thing was more.
Yeah. I like the first Swamp Thing more.
Okay. What would you rate this?
But, I'm leaning towards a 4.
No way. That's the exact same rating I gave it, a 4 out of 10.
Well, you said in the middle. I thought you were going 5.
No, I can't give that much credit. 5 out of 10. No way. If this was released in theaters, this would have a lower rating. But since it was direct to DVD and
But it was supposed to come out in theaters, though.
It was supposed to, but it didn't.
But just because it didn't, that doesn't mean it wasn't made for the theater. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
It's not like a DC animated movie that is never designed for a theater crowd.
Yes.
So I have to argue that this is still, you have to judge it based on it. Just because it wasn't shown in theaters doesn't mean it should get excused because it didn't go to theaters.
I'm not excusing it. I kind of am, but it's like it didn't have numbers.
Oh, by the way, apparently the person who wrote those songs is Barry Goldberg. He's a terrible writer, so don't.
He's a comic book writer, or is he a terrible writer in general?
I don't know, for music.
Don't support him. You're saying?
Yeah.
That's so cynical. That's terrible. That's so awful. You went out your way to say, "Don't listen to this." That's.
I mean, I'm not warn people of a hazard in their life.
But yeah. I think since this movie didn't have a box office returns, it can't be too harsh. Like, I can't be harsh on it, but I'm not going to be Batman harsh. Like,
I disagree. It's made for theaters.
I get that.
The intention was to put this in the theater.
I get that.
So just because it wasn't doesn't mean it should get any slack whatsoever.
I don't think I'm giving it that much slack, though. I'm just saying
you're not judging it as harshly as you are Batman, which means you're not judging it as harshly because it's not in theaters.
No, because if this was... Okay, let's say this was a theatrical release.
Uh-huh.
I would either give it a low 4 or a high 3. Because it's not an offensive bad movie. There aren't loopholes. There are, holes in logic of how people found where they were and just,
there shouldn't be a difference, is what I'm saying. Your score should be based on what it is, because
and what it is is a movie that was released on DVD, or whatever
it's
VHS
still
at the time.
Theatrical movie,
but not technically, not really.
Technically, it was released in theaters in the Philippines.
In the fucking Philippines, though, come on.
So, and it's still a theater release.
Yeah, I guess.
So barely. You have to judge it by a theater release standard.
I'll still give it a 4 then. A soft 4 at that. A very soft 4.
I'm just saying.
I think 3 is too harsh no matter what, though.
I gave it a 4 too, but I just don't think your score should be lightened at all in case because it was happened to be on DVD.
I think so, because at that point, I'm judging it to other DVDs I've seen or any VHSs I've seen. And it's kind of on par of those. If I'm judging it solely on movies based in theaters, why was it ever released in theaters? How dare they do that? This should not be ever seen on theaters, which I don't feel about this as an example.
But the process is different. If you're making a direct-to-DVD movie, it's a different process than you are a theatrical release movie.
Yes.
So it's not fair to judge it on the lower standards of a DVD one who don't have a $3 million budget.
Well, some movies do have that budget to that level.
They do, some, but some don't.
Yeah.
This had a theatrical release budget. Even though it was a low budget, but it still had it. It still had one. Because it was supposed to be in movies.
I can give you that.
So it should be judged with its peers.
I don't know. Because it wasn't with its peers. That's the thing. It may have had the attention to be somewhere, but it ended up there. So I'm judging it where it ended up at. Either way, I was going to give it a 4 no matter what. To me, it's a solid 4. If it was theaters, it'd be a soft 4 because it's not an offensively bad movie for it to be a 3 or 2.
But the quality of the movie makes the difference based on your judgment.
Yeah, it's bad. It's not even bad quality; it's low quality. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a bad movie, a theater movie, no doubt about it. And it's a good thing it didn't get in the movies because it wouldn't have made any money.
No,
but
they had the wherewithal to understand that, and they said, "Okay,
no,
That's what happened. They had the arguments probably. That's why it took so long to release. So they said, no, instead of putting it in theaters, we're still going to release it. Let's get some sales off it on DVDs and it's put on TV for viewership. They know they're not going to get their money back theatrically wise. If they do, it's going to be barely a return. So let's just put it out there.
It was given a limited theatrical release internationally.
Yeah.
So it did. So they did want to do it. They still released it in theaters.
Okay, but not to the scale of Batman or Superman or anything else that was on this list at the time.
That doesn't matter, though. The Punisher was released in theaters, and we judged that based on the same thing. We didn't judge that based on a direct-to-video sequel.
No. So
it should be based on the same merits. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay. I can agree with that.
And you want to hear an interesting tidbit about the release?
I will. Okay, if this is a stupid pun, I'm going to end the podcast right here.
Actually, it's not, but now I'm sad that I don't have one.
Good.
In the Philippines, the film was released as Blood Match on December 11, 1991, in a double feature with a Snoopy film.
Yes. Isn't that fascinating?
And the posters miscredit Jean-Claude Van Damme as a martial arts instructor.
Hey, kids, let's go watch Snoopy. And then a Blood Match after this?
Yeah.
So that's a terrible mismatch of movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think either way, I'm giving this movie a 4.
Yeah, this movie was foul.
It's not a 5, it's not average. And 3 is just like, I would be offended if I watched the movie, so it's a 4.
Whatever, I'm tired of talking to these idiots.
I'm tired of talking to you.
Good.
Oh, egg suckers. Don't forget, we have a website now. It's www.wesuckeggs.org. That's www.wesuckeggs.org.
The podcast is over. You can stop now.